So here's a question. Why don't we sleep like our parents? Seems simple, right? But the answer, well, it uncovers this hidden battle raging between our ancient biology and the modern world we live in. Let's dive in and investigate.
Come on, you know the feeling. It's past midnight, your eyes are burning, you are so tired. But you're still scrolling, still watching one more episode. And all the while, there's that little voice in the back of your head, right? The one that's just dripping with guilt telling you, you should have been asleep hours ago. And this is the clash right here. You've got the 10 p.m. bedtime from our parents' generation, that classic 9 to 5 schedule, and then you've got our schedule, 1 a.m. me time. See, for so many of us, those late hours, they aren't about failing to sleep. No, it's about reclaiming a piece of our day. So, what is really going on here? Okay, so to get to the bottom of this, our very first clue is to challenge the whole idea of a normal night's sleep. I mean, was that rigid 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. block really the universal standard we all assume it was? Well, it turns out, nope, not at all. That solid 8-hour block of sleep, it's actually pretty new. It's an invention of the Industrial Revolution, designed to get workers synced up for the factory floor. Before all that, before artificial light and rigid schedules, historical records show a ton of people practice what's called segmented sleep. They'd have a first sleep, wake up for a bit in the middle of the night, and then have a second sleep. So yeah, that so-called standard night, it's definitely not some ancient human thing. And you can see it in the data, a clear shift across generations. Just look at the bedtimes. Boomers, around 10 p.m. Gen Z, they're pushing way past midnight. But here's the twist, and this is important. It's not always about sleeping less. Actually, some studies suggest millennials might get even more total sleep than Gen X did. So the real story here isn't the amount of sleep we're getting. It's the timing that has completely changed.
All right, so if it's not just about being lazy or undisciplined, then what is it? For our next clue, we're going to have to go way back. I'm talking past recent history, deep into our evolutionary past. And what we find there is a motive that's, well, it's pretty surprising. This is a really cool idea called the Sentinel hypothesis. And it's actually simple, but super powerful. Think about it. If you're in a hunter-gatherer tribe and everyone goes to sleep at the exact same time, you're a sitting duck for predators, right? So, evolution favored having a mix of sleep schedules, what we call chronotypes today, to make sure someone was always awake, basically standing guard.
And listen, this isn't just some wild theory. Scientists actually studied the Hadza tribe in Tanzania. They still live a hunter-gatherer lifestyle. And they found that over a 20-day period, get this, there were only 18 minutes where every single adult was asleep at the same time. 18 minutes. At any given moment, about 8 people were awake. The older folks went to bed early and woke up early, and the young adults, you guessed it, they were the ones staying up late. So I really want you to let that sink in for a second. That urge you have to stay up late, it's not some modern flaw in your character. It's a biological echo, a throwback to your job as the tribe's night watchman. You're not failing at sleep. You're actually succeeding at an ancient survival strategy. Okay, but here's the catch. Our biology might be ancient, but our world is brand spanking new. In that primal urge to stand guard, well, it's found some very modern accomplices, things that just pour gasoline on that fire. Let's take a look at the sleep thieves of today. All right, culprit number 1, and it's a big one, blue light. That light from our phones, our laptops, when it hits our eyes, it basically sends a direct message to our brain saying, hey, stop making melatonin. And melatonin is the hormone that signals time for sleep. So your brain is tricked into thinking it's still the middle of the day, which of course keeps you awake longer, staring at your screen more. It's a vicious cycle, a total physiological trap. Then you've got this psychological side of things. There's a name for this. It's called revenge bedtime procrastination. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's when your entire day is just hijacked by work or school or chores. You have no time for yourself. So those late night hours, that becomes the only time you have to just exist, to do what you want. You're basically taking revenge on your day by stealing back a few hours, even if you know you're sacrificing sleep to do it. And for Gen Z, the data is just wow. It's crystal clear. A full 51%, more than half, say that social media and FOMO, the fear of missing out, is their biggest sleep disruptor. And it makes sense, right? A book has a last page, a TV show has an ending, but the feed, the scroll, it's literally infinite.
Going to sleep means disconnecting from everything that's happening, and for a lot of people, that causes some serious anxiety.
So, what's the final verdict here? Is this whole new way of sleeping wrong? Well, here's the thing. The problem isn't really the sleep pattern itself. The problem is the massive collision between our ancient biology and the rigid demands of modern society. And the consequences of that crash, they're pretty serious. This clash leads to something called social jet lag. Imagine your body's internal clock is set to a 2 a.m. to 10 a.m. schedule. That's just your natural rhythm. But your job demands you be up and autumn by 7 a.m. The result? You're basically living with permanent jet lag, but you never even got to go on a trip.
And this isn't just about feeling tired. It has very real health costs. This constant misalignment throws your hormones, like your stress hormone cortisol, completely out of whack. I mean, research shows that just a 2-hour difference between your body clock and your work clock can actually double your risk of prediabetes. That's a huge strain on your body. And the impact goes way beyond our personal health. It's a massive economic issue. The Rand Corporation crunched the numbers and estimated that the U.S. economy loses, wait for it, up to $411 billion a year in lost productivity, all because we're not getting enough sleep. This isn't a small problem, it's a huge society-wide crisis. On top of all that, there's this hidden bias at work. Researchers call it the night owl penalty. They found that bosses tend to see employees who show up early as better, more dedicated workers than their colleagues who start later, even when their actual productivity and quality of work is identical. So yeah, your natural sleep cycle could literally be holding back your career.
But, okay, it's not all doom and gloom. The story doesn't end there, because as this becomes the new reality for more and more people, society is slowly but surely starting to adapt. The case isn't closed. Now it's all about finding real solutions.
And this is where things get interesting. We're seeing this whole new frontier of solutions pop up. Things like chronoworking, where your work schedule is actually designed around your body's natural peak hours. Sleep divorce is becoming a thing, where partners sleep in separate rooms to protect their sleep. And then there's sleep maxing, which is this whole new trend of intensely optimizing every aspect of your sleep. It all shows that we're finally starting to realize how critical this all is.
Which brings us to one last big question. For what decades, we've been told over and over again to fix our sleep to fit the 9-to-5 schedule. But what if we've been trying to solve the wrong problem this whole time? After everything we now know about our biological rhythms, about our modern world, maybe it's not our sleep that's broken. Maybe it's the 9-to-5.